Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar award-winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk. We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's.com. With AI booming and platforms like TikTok and YouTube, the barrier to entry for creatives looking to share their content has never been lower. Ty Randolph is a longtime media executive. She works for Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Media Company and serves as interim consulting CEO at Rock the Bells. She talked to Bloomberg about how today's tech is impacting the creator landscape.
You have this real rise that's happening with creator empowerment, and now there's this big accessibility, right? There's more personalization and control, and that is big for studios and for even distributors. But then you have this, real battle from an IP and ownership perspective that's akin to a Napster-like moment in the music industry.
While creators have more cheap but highly capable tools than ever before, Randall says we're still learning how it'll impact the creator economy, and especially creators of color. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears. Breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, though, man. But I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, June 27, 2025. For years, if not decades, we as members of the African American community lamented about the heavy hand of the criminal justice system in America. It could be the 1994 crime bill and the 3 strikes and you're out laws. While we liked Bill Clinton at the time, Bill Clinton also oversaw the largest construction of new prison facilities, federal prison facilities, likely in the history of the United States. Bill Clinton was responsible for putting together a federal budget that put 100,000 more police on the streets. We looked at the deficit left in black communities all over the place because of the high number of African American men that were in prison, and that has profound social impacts. That means that those African American men, and it disproportionately impacted African American men, this heavy hand of the criminal justice system, including the 1994 crime bill, which some years ago in our political context, that's all we brought up. Activists and leading progressives. Well, it was the 1994 crime bill that was racist, and the criminal justice system is racist, and they would back it up with data and back it up with fact. But then there was also the anecdotal evidence of the harm that was done to the African American community, black men in particular, because if they are in prison, a lot of times they may not be getting the services that they need. You got to remember, back 30 plus years ago, you didn't have the emphasis on mental health, let alone the investments and the funding in it. We weren't talking about trauma and PTSD and trauma-informed care. We weren't talking about all that stuff. Somebody committed a crime, you're going to prison. And there was truth in sentencing, right? There was no early release. You got a 10-piece, you doing all 10 pieces of them nuggets. Leading progressives and Democrats and other activists, after seeing the statistical evidence and then the anecdotal evidence of the pain that was caused. These are fathers that were separated from their children, right? Because if the criminal justice system and its heavy hand on black men was taking black men out of the community, that's less black men that are working, that are earning, that are contributing, that are building their resumes, that are building our community, that are being the backbone of our community. They can't do all that because they are incarcerated. Now, we can get into all of the reasons as to why the crimes were committed, et cetera, but if you just looked at the raw data, the raw numbers of who was being arrested, let's say between 1995 and the year 2010, 2012, you would see a disproportionate number of black men, especially in Milwaukee. In fact, a zip code here was made internationally famous, was it not? We still talk about 53206 because with this heavy hand of the criminal justice system that disproportionately choked the life out of the black social structure, 53206 happened to be the most incarcerated zip code in the entire country. And then you have agencies and organizations and nonprofits that are now burrowing down in 53206 because we got to help because so many men were separated from their families and their children. And black women had to suffer disproportionately too. We wonder why so many African American women in their second generation are now the heads of households, because there was a previous generation where a lot of black men just weren't there. They were in prison. And if there's a generation that is allowed to exist without the partnership of black men, then that next generation of women, that next generation of girls will grow up not needing or thinking they don't need black men. And so I'm giving these examples as these long-term impactful repercussions to the 1994 crime bill and the racism that we're all very aware of that exists in the criminal justice system. And people pushed back on that because if you look at the data, numbers tell a story. And the story would say, wow, look how many white men were arrested and went to prison versus how many black men or how many men of Mexican descent or whatever the case may be. So we were fully well versed on that. So guess what? As time went on, we realized, wait a minute, maybe the criminal justice system is racist. Maybe it is. Well, let's do something about it because the data doesn't lie. And the harm that was done to the community by so many black men being missing. And I don't know if people really conceptualize that. If daddy and them ain't there, if uncle and them ain't there, a lot of things can happen in a community because of the absence of men that would not happen if those men were actually present. So there was a social toll, and it had an impact in several different generations. So we pushed back. Did we not? I think we did. But here is where we got caught in the Chinese finger trap. There was real resistance to this criminal justice system in this country because of what it did to black men and black families. And, you know, the whole thing when children grow up without fathers and you name it, right? Every negative social indicator, there's bad health outcomes, all sorts of things. And also, if you have a disproportionate number of people from an area, from a zip code, a city, or a county going to prison, well, you need more dollars to incarcerate them. You might have to build more prisons. Then you deal with stuff like prison overcrowding. Then you have to deal with the high cost of not just maintaining the prison, but all of the staff. Remember, those are union workers, too, that work in these state prisons. So they get paid a decent union wage. Then think about the health care costs. Then think about the food costs and all the other costs associated with these prisons. It's very expensive. I don't know what the numbers are, but we used to recite them all the time. It costs X amount of dollars to incarcerate somebody for a year. It costs these amount of dollars to educate somebody. But if you have a disproportionate number of criminals, it doesn't matter how much it costs to educate them. Right now, they're incarcerated. So you got to spend that higher dollar amount, meaning whatever taxes are collected, a larger percentage has to go to their confinement. And that's just the way it is. You can't say, okay, we're going to spend $75,000 per year to confine them, but also we're going to put in the bank $25,000 a year so they can get an education. That's not how that works. That $25,000 a year for somebody's education is only available and only exists if somebody is not confined. Do you understand where I'm going with this? And so the money that we would need to mitigate and to prevent some of these situations like maybe abject poverty and a lack of investment in neighborhoods and communities and schools, the money that we would need to make sure there's less crime, we didn't have because the money that we had collected from our taxes was disproportionately going to the people that were incarcerated because we had to pay for their room and board. Do you understand where I'm going with this? But then we saw something. Maybe the 2010s, moving into the almost the late 2010s into the 2020s, criminal justice reform. Somebody somewhere said, you know what, wow, maybe we were heavy-handed with the 1994 crime bill. Maybe we did focus a little bit too much on incarcerating African Americans, particularly African American men in particular zip codes, because now we can see the harm that was done after a full generation. And so then what happened? They backed off. Oh, that bail's too high. You know, a lot of these people that are charged with crimes, they can't afford the bail. The bail is racist. Well, then lower the bail. Well, you know, you can't send people to prison forever because that's like torture. It's tantamount to the worst kind of treatment a human being can endure. Let's give them deferred prosecution. We'll find diversions. There's different things that we can do and different tactics maybe. Right? Don't confine somebody forever. Please get rid of the 3 strikes law. That's not fair either. And this whole truth in sentencing, well, that's not fair either, because if you look on all the stat sheets, the truth in sentencing, where if a man was sentenced to 10 years, he did all 10 of those years, well, people would say, well, that's unfair too, because what if he had good behavior? Can't have him serving 10 years. He's away from his family. He's away from his community. Okay, let him out after 2. The harder we resisted, because we did resist the racism in the criminal justice system, because we had all the data and all the stats you could shake a stick at. I could show anybody, an elementary school kid to a PhD college professor, that a disproportionate number of black men were going to prison. We didn't analyze any further than that. We didn't figure out why. We didn't look at the culture. We didn't look at all the other things that may contribute to it. We just looked at the raw data, and the raw data spells racism. And as black people became much more politically prominent, well, if black people think that the criminal justice system is racist, well, then let's make it less racist. Well, what are they complaining about? Truth in sentencing? Get rid of it. Bail is too high because a lot of these individuals don't have a bunch of money to make bail. And plus, they're not guilty of a crime. They have a pending court date. Okay, lower the bail. or just release them on their own recognizance. We pulled and pulled and we resisted. We resisted because we hated this criminal justice system. But here's what happened. The racists got us again. They said, okay, you've shown us all of the data and all the statistics that the criminal justice system is, in fact, racist. So here's what we're going to do. Your most egregious and violent criminals, we're not even going to hold them. We're just going to release them back to you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No. Oh, the bail is too high? All right. $50. Here you go. You're out on bail. Felony gun charge, attempted murder, sexual assault of a child. Well, no, because if we have a high bail, that's racist. If we lock them up for a disproportionate amount of time, well, of course, that's racist. If we have truth in sentencing, that is racist. So what we're going to do is someone will commit a crime. They'll get charged with a crime, but then we're just going to let them back out. And maybe their court date ain't for 6 months. And don't let COVID hit. Somebody ain't going to court at all. The people that we complain to about the criminal justice system being racist said, okay, well, then we will barely incarcerate these people at all, and we will return them back to you. Now, remember, Milwaukee is a segregated city. I need you to hear and feel what I'm saying now. If a black person commits an egregious crime against another black person, this is a violent criminal, the worst of the worst, the kind of person that you don't want to live next to. And we said for all these years and these decades, the criminal justice system is racist. Here's what the criminal justice system did. It said, okay, if you think it's racist, they'll be charged with a crime, a horrible crime, a violent crime. We're just going to release them right back into the community. There you go. You deal with them. Because Milwaukee is segregated, when they go soft on crime per the community's wishes, because we made the case that the criminal justice system is racist, they released the violent people back to us where they committed more violence against us. So the harder we pull to resist the criminal justice system's racism, the system said, okay, we're just going to send them back to you. The racists knew what they were doing. A lot happened in the last 24 hours since I've been on the air, and I'm going to do my level best to cover all of it, including 5 people shot. And I don't believe that includes the 2 Milwaukee police officers that were shot as well. In fact, they were ambushed and did not even have an opportunity to return fire. Suspect, as of 8:58 a.m., I don't know if they caught him in the last 19 minutes. That suspect is known, the one that shot the 2 Milwaukee police officers, but has not been apprehended yet. Let me just tell you this. Oh, and by the way, Chief Norman, Police Chief Jeff Norman, his house got broken into. Oh, yeah, all in the last 24 hours. Yep. The suspect that they are looking for that is known that shot those 2 Milwaukee police officers, let me be real clear. Milwaukee cops going to be kicking indoors until they find whoever this person is. They're going to be doing a lot of racial profiling. I'm just saying, they will kick your door in looking for the person that shot, ambushed, let me be clear, 2 police officers. I got a couple of other things that I want to throw into the mix, but I want you to be mindful of the fact that we pulled and resisted and we hated this racist criminal justice system. What they did is they softened it up to such a level that the most violent offenders that should be locked up forever, that have no place in our society. And let me be clear when I say this, some people you can't rehab. I don't care how much Jesus you give some people. They are never going to change. They're always going to be a menace to themselves and to our society, and they're always going to thwart our progress as black people. And what the criminal justice system did said, okay, you think that we're being too racist and we're punishing them too harshly? We're just going to send them back to you. No bail, truth in sentencing. Somebody should get 15 years. They'll serve 3.5. We'll give them deferred prosecution. We'll do a little diversion program where the most violent offenders in a lot of cases are just returned back to the community. And what do? They don't get rehabilitated. They commit additional offenses against us. We're going to talk about it today. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on July 1st.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there's
she goes! Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the New York Mets.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in July 1st at 6:10 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Why did Old National Bank decide to create this program?
You know, it was something that was near and dear to the heart of our chairman and CEO, Jim Bryant. Jim wanted us to do more in the African-American communities, more with minority-owned businesses. So he approached Roland Shelton, who was my boss in Evansville, Indiana, and said, Roland, we need to do more. We need to create a program that's going to allow individuals, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses to access capital a lot better than traditionally we've been doing. And so we created the Empowerment Loan Program 2 years ago.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I liken it to a Chinese finger trap. The more we resisted the racism in the criminal justice system and stomped our feet for reforms to it, the more racist they actually got. I just wish black folks knew this very simple premise, because if you think about it, in the grand scheme of American history, black people resisting racism and winning is new. It's a new concept. All throughout the Jim Crow era, if you combine the Jim Crow era, which was 100 years, it was a century. Post-slavery, there's 100 more years of second-class citizenship. And then if you look at the institution of slavery itself, that's 250 years. So you're looking at 350 years. So us marching and protesting and getting involved politically and having federal legislation created and debated and then signed into law is a relatively new concept. What we may have believed, because we didn't think this thing through and we didn't think it through critically. Do you have any idea? Well, I know that you do. I just want you to think about it differently. The advantages the European Americans and white society got in the 350 years in which black people's participation in the American economy was up to them, they got major advantages from that. Major. And so even if there are some improvements and some progress made by black people, the racism in this nation that created million-dollar fortunes and billion-dollar fortunes and created these incredible empires was not just going to say, oh, okay, well, I guess it's over for us. No, they were going to reinvent themselves. And so there's a way in which you can turn black progress into a still beneficial situation for racists. Okay, they think the criminal justice system is too racist. Okay, well then release their most violent people right back to them so that those most violent people still commit crimes and offenses against the African-American community. So even, we might believe that when we make progress or you get a piece of legislation like, oh, look, the white people are relaxing a little bit. No, they're not. They're shifting into another gear. Because the progress that we have made, I'm just going to look at the 1960s and the civil rights movement because that's just easy. Because we had never made that kind of progress before. We had no idea how racism was going to respond to it. And it responded in a way that was much more covert. You can't just arrest black people for being black. You got to do something like, how about a war on drugs? Even though we know at the time African Americans and any other race of people, let's say marijuana was a culprit for a very long time, smoked marijuana at about the same rate. But if you have a quote-unquote war on drugs, then you have a reason to go into black neighborhoods and black communities. Because the thing about the smell of marijuana, it is perfect probable cause. It allows a police officer to search your vehicle and to search your person, etc. So you can't just say no blacks allowed, but you can stop and frisk because you're looking for illegal drugs. So we made progress, but then the racism that kept black people in a subservient position for 350 years, it made progress too. It is the biggest warning that I will give to anybody. Whenever you think you made progress, they're going to retool and they're going to make progress too. Because racism exists on a plane with black progress. As one moves up, the other moves up. It's not like when black progress advances, racism is like, oh, drats, you defeated me. Best example I could give, Barack Obama. We didn't then say, as Americans now, well, he wasn't a scandal-ridden president. He wasn't mean and nasty and vindictive. He didn't take away due process. He got us out of wars. He got the economy back on track. He helped mitigate the home foreclosure crisis. We weren't talking at all about inflation because there really was none under Barack Obama. Everything was working really, really well. America didn't say, well, let's elect more black people. Look at the job that he did. Let's give more black people a shot. Basically, America said never again. And we got the worst possible follow-up to Barack Obama you could ever imagine. That is a snapshot of America. If Barack Obama represented any kind of progress, if he represented racial progress, then Donald Trump represents white nationalism and white supremacy, which still has a tremendous amount of power, represents how they respond, okay? Not only did Donald Trump represent how racism responds to black progress, Trump knew that he could do whatever he wanted because he represented the white nationalists and the white supremacists. Look at what January 6th was. It was a collection of his people that will allow Donald Trump to commit felonies, to commit crimes, to commit voter fraud, to violate things that was set forth by Congress, get himself impeached twice, and he got elected again. You know what that means when Donald Trump got elected again? That means that there was so much black progress that was being made all over the place in so many different areas and avenues in America that they had to elect him again to push back on it. And what was the first thing he did? What was the first thing he did? End DEI. That's why he's here. Get these Mexicans the hell out of our country. Trump, we don't care how many court orders you violated. We don't care if you violated the Supreme Court. We don't care if you violate the U.S. Constitution. We don't care if you said you want to be a dictator for a day. Get rid of DEI and get rid of these illegal Mexicans. But you got to tell the American people so they can swallow it. You're only going to get rid of the worst and the criminals. Donald Trump is deporting leaf blowers and like house cleaners. But I just want you to know, and it might be an emotional subject for you, when black people make progress, white supremacy is going to respond. The more progress that we make, the harder and more severely they're going to respond. And until further notice, this is America. So what do we do in response to that? Barack Obama led to Donald Trump. Got Joe Biden as a temporary stopgap. So what do? Now, with hindsight being 2020, I can be a little bit more objective. We thought it was a good idea for Kamala Harris. We thought, it's a perfect time for her. So wait a minute. If black progress in the election and re-election of Barack Obama got us Donald Trump, imagine if Kamala Harris would have gotten elected. Now, things would be a lot different right now. But 2026 and 2028 would have been hell to pay. Because the response to her, and there's a whole woman aspect to her. So I just want people to be mindful and not operate under any illusion whatsoever. So are you guys familiar with this? He's a rapper. His name is Chicken P. He's a Milwaukee rapper, very famous. He's been here before. Rick said he's heard of him before. I've heard of him. Like he's been in studio. He may have been on Tori's show. Benjamin used to do a music show. Like on Thursdays, I think he may have joined Benjamin. He may have been with Ben and Carrie on their show. So he's performing at Summerfest. You know, we've long complain that local artists and local talent don't get their fair shake at Summerfest. You get all these, like Summerfest would get a local band, like a local to Toledo, Ohio band. It would sometimes sidestep Milwaukee artists because I believe that. I mean, we have a little bit of talent, and we got a few talented people here, and got a few, and so we want to showcase the talented people that we have here in Milwaukee. And I say that because the super duper uber talented people in anything, in any field, art, entertainment, academia, science, technology, anything, leave Milwaukee because their talents are better utilized and more respected literally anywhere else. I know people that suck at everything, but went somewhere else and became more successful. Because if you suck in Milwaukee, then it's over for you. It's hopeless. But if you suck like in Austin, Texas, you can be like a suck consultant. You know what I mean? Like you can get some kind of opportunity. And so if you are incredibly talented here in Milwaukee, you will do dramatically better if you go somewhere else. So a lot of our most talented people, because we just can't keep people here. And after the last 24 hours, an additional 10% of people are now considering moving out of the city just because of what happened in the last 24 hours. And here's what's crazy. This summer is only 6 days old. This summer ain't even turned a week old yet. This summer is a newborn. Damn. Who breaks into the chief of police's house? And then they said they recovered 2 guns. So not only did this dude, did he have the guns on him? Did he go to the chief's house? How do you break into the chief of police house if the chief of police isn't safe? And it was a 67-year-old man. Could you imagine being on Medicare and committing a robbery of the chief's house? And it was weird because it happened at the same time that the Fire and Police Commission reappointed the chief to a full 4-year term. So the chief is getting his new contract for his new 4-year term at the same time a 67-year-old dude broke into his crib. How embarrassing. Milwaukee rapper Chicken P's Summerfest show was canceled because he is in custody of the Milwaukee County Jail and could be incarcerated for quite some time. As part of a headline lineup shuffle mid-festival, festival officials announced the rapper, whose given name is Rakib Smith, will no longer perform at the Generac Power Stage tomorrow night. Smith, age 30, is arguably the most popular rapper living in Milwaukee and has held that title for several years as the city's rap scene has gained recognition nationally with the rise of social media and viral personalities. He has a record deal with 10K Projects, the independent label behind Ice Spice and Triple Red. Festival officials offered no details about the cancellations other than, quote, unforeseen circumstances. Let me continue. But according to online court records, Smith is in custody of the Milwaukee County Jail after he failed a drug test that was being administered as a condition of the bail for 2 open felony-related drug cases from 2022. So he was out on bail. Hold on, there's more. In March, Smith pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine and possession of a firearm by a felon. He was supposed to be sentenced on June 30th, but his attorney filed a motion to postpone the hearing to late July after the failed drug test. The judge granted the motion and ordered Smith be held until sentencing, which is scheduled for July 24th. So they postponed his hearing so he could perform at Summerfest, so he wouldn't be in jail for Summerfest because he's going to jail, okay? Failed a damn drug test. His lawyer, who we all know, got him this extension so the sentencing wouldn't take place until July. Last month, Smith had a felony charge of recklessly endangering safety dismissed after the prosecution's essential witness failed to appear. Sounds suspicious. Smith is represented by who? Tony Cotton. Tony Cotton, who also represented convicted murderer Maxwell Anderson. Let me just be clear about this. If Tony Cotton is your lawyer, you got a good lawyer, all right? Tony's out of the country right now on vacation We talked to him before. In fact, he showed up here in his vacation clothes. We did an interview with him before he left to go on his vacation. Tony was probably like, hey, dog, hey, Chicken P, I'm going to get you this extension. Don't mess up. Don't screw up. Your PP needs to be clean. I'm going on vacation for a month. Don't just chill until I get back. But he couldn't because apparently Chicken P got in trouble with a recklessly endangering safety charge. I'm going to take a break, come back. But I'm just saying, like, a violent criminal, they just release them right back to us. That's right. Instead of locking folks up that really deserve it, they release them back to us, and they commit these offenses again and again and again. And because Milwaukee is segregated, if a black person commits a serious violent offense, 99% of the time it's against another black person because crime is a matter of proximity. We said the criminal justice system was too mean and too harsh and too heavy-handed and too racist. So they said, okay, we'll just send them right back to you with hardly any punishment whatsoever or deferred prosecution or a suspended sentence. And what do? Commit additional offenses against us. Last night is a perfect example of that, but I got even more data I'm going to share with you. I'm going to prove my point beyond the shadow of a doubt. When we said we hated the criminal justice system because it was too harsh, they said, well, then we'll make it soft as a feather so that the people that should be locked up are going to continue to commit crimes against you and your community. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance, and you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Products are not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
State Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
As I reflect on my journey, I'm reminded of God's blessings and guidance. I've been fortunate enough to accomplish some remarkable feats, including walking 750 miles from Milwaukee to Washington, D.C. in honor of the Civil Rights Movement. I also walked against violence from Milwaukee to Chicago and back for 7 consecutive years. My feet are still recovering, but my spirit remains strong. I've been privileged to advocate for victims of police brutality, search for missing persons, and participate in numerous protests. Last year, I was honored to visit the White House with my colleagues from 1017 The Truth to discuss pressing issues in the Black community with the Biden administration. Throughout my broadcasting career, I've received several first-place Wisconsin Broadcast Association awards for The Tory Lowe Show. I've also had the opportunity to be part of ESPN 94.5's Packer pregame show at Lambeau Field. As I look back, I am grateful for the incredible journey. Salute to my brothers and sisters on the front lines. And thank you for your tireless efforts and dedication. We're in this together, and I could not have done anything without the love and support of my community. I want to remind you to keep pushing forward, stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel. Green don't always mean go, and look both ways before you cross the street. And always look out for one another. In 2025, we still got a lot of work to do. God bless you, and I love you.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Y'all getting some Rolling Stones today. I asked the YouTube chat if they had any song requests. Mr. Mahdi said Keith Sweat, Make It Last. Today is not a Keith Sweat, Make It Last topic kind of day. We are talking about how I'm making a suggestion because it makes sense to me. And if I do my job correctly at the end of my program, it'll make sense to you. Oh, speaking at the end of my program, boy, have I got some special guests for you. Not going to tell you who it is, though. You got to wait. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Because we resisted so hard. Now, remember, if we thought progress was being made because we reshaped the criminal justice system, or we got the judicial system and the prosecutorial system and the sentencing system to look at things differently, and if we call that progress, then the people that allowed us to have that progress were going to figure out how they could still get an advantage over us. That is the tug of war of the United States of America. The push and the pull of marginalized groups. And now the marginalized group is getting bigger. Because there used to be a period of time where if you were oppressed, you just sucked it up and just were oppressed. Now you can join a group, you can join an organization, you can join a coalition. The first time that I recall the LGBTQ community being any kind of a political organizing lightning rod was in the 2004 presidential election cycle. But back then, it didn't have all those letters. In fact, the order of the letters was different. It was GLBT, which I always thought sounded like a BLT, which is a delicious sandwich. But they found that these other groups are oppressed too. You can be oppressed because of your religion. First, Muslims were like, yeah, we're being oppressed. And then there's a Sikh temple shooting in Oak Creek in 2012. They were being oppressed. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, now it's Christians that are being oppressed. Imagine that. And then, of course, women are oppressed. So when black folks made the case, like, hey, we're being treated really unfairly, like we can't sit wherever we want to on the bus, even though we pay the same fare as everybody else. They're not letting us vote, but we're paying local taxes. They're not allowing us to have the best schools. They're not allowing our kids to attend the schools that have the highest outcomes, and we illustrated that. Then all these other groups were like, yeah, and we want $15 an hour for working at McDonald's, see? And yeah, I'm oppressed too. I broke my ankle and have a slight limp. I'm oppressed too. And so you have all these people that are oppressed. And the system that exists has to work harder and harder. Because if you were oppressed, if you were in any one of these groups that was oppressed, the whole point of America is to continue to oppress you, because if you are kept down, we can discriminate against you and we can pay you less. You're not going to have a fair shake. Like, you're not going to reform what America actually is at its core because of your oppression, because what is that ultimately going to lead to? It's going to lead to the oppressed people oppressing their oppressor. And that's exactly what it is. We don't want equality. We want people that we can stand over. We want people that we can be better than. We want people that we can make more money than. We want to be able to tell somebody what to do. Like, that is what America is. Most black people, if you sit them down and get a little whiskey in them, they'll tell you that they want power, because for so long we didn't have it. They want control. Control over resources, yes. Control over investments, absolutely. But also control over people. And also there's a spiteful streak too. They want a little bit of revenge. A little bit, not a lot. Just a little taste of it. A little taste of revenge. That's what the system is. Last month, Chicken P, whose real name is, I never knew his real, he's probably more mad that they put his real name in this story. Rakib Smith is his name. So he had a court hearing scheduled. His attorney, so he was out on bail or bond. Chicken P, Milwaukee rapper, if you don't know. Out on bail or bond. His attorney, Tony Cotton, who a lot of y'all hate, got his court hearing postponed until after his Summerfest performance. Well, Chicken P was accused of another crime of recklessly endangering safety while he was out on bail for a weapons charge and distribution of cocaine. Like, dude got an extension. He got a little bit more time so he could perform at Summerfest, committed another damn crime. And now Milwaukee County has him. That's the craziest part. You think that if you're being charged with a crime and then you get bailed out or bonded out, sit your ass down. Don't put yourself in the place nor the space where you can even potentially be named as a suspect in another crime. So what I'm saying is that when we wanted to reform the criminal justice system, they're like, okay, just let them all out. It doesn't matter what they did. And we'd say, well, the prosecutors are too harsh. What the prosecutors doing now? Walking away. Hi, Your Honor. The individual to my left has been charged with double homicide, several drug charges with intent to distribute. They were found with $95,000 in cash, $10,000 of heroin, and a trunk full of guns. Prosecution, the judge would say, prosecution, what do you want to do? A $50 bail, please, Your Honor. Because, of course, if the bail is higher than that, it would be considered racist. I think there's also a provision where you can't use drug money. So if you get caught with $100,000, it's almost not fair. So if you get caught with $100,000 of drug money, you can't use your $100,000 of drug money for your own bail. Well, I guess that makes sense. But then we would say, well, you took their drug money. Now they don't have enough money to pay their bail, so lower their bail. And they do lower their bail. They get out of jail, and what do? They go right back to selling dope and shooting people. And where do they commit those crimes? Who are they shooting and who are they selling dope to? Disproportionately, it's us. So when we wanted the criminal justice system to ease up, it did. And we are paying the price. And how does that ultimately hurt us? Nobody wants to invest in the black community. Nobody wants to live here. And if nobody wants to live here, they do in pockets where they can push us out. If more people want to come to the black community because it was a quiet, peaceful, beautiful, safe neighborhood. And here's the thing. I believe that it is, but we just have a really bad rap. If we can't get more people to see the value in the architecture and the proximity to downtown, then property values are going to remain depressed. If property values are going to remain depressed, then we can't invest in our public schools that are funded mostly off of those property tax dollars, meaning these kids are getting a crappy education. And I know there's some really smart kids that go to MPS. There's a whole bunch of smart ones, but it's a bunch of dumb ones too. You ever have a conversation with someone who's maybe in their mid-20s, didn't really make much of themselves, but they barely graduated from MPS? It's like talking to a rock. I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's not your fault that you're a rock. You went to an underfunded school where their whole point was it didn't matter if you knew how to read in 3rd grade or in 8th grade. They just got you out of school. And now you're out here, you can't get a job, can't critically think, can't put a resume together to save your life, have no skills whatsoever. What are these people even going to do? Rob us. That's what they're going to do. Break into the chief's house. I'd like to meet that guy. He was like, hey, y'all. He's 67 years old. He probably had a walker. He goes, I'm going to walk my ass. I'm going to hobble my ass up to the chief's house and break in. Like, that's crazy work. Like, he said, I'm not going to rob like a sergeant or a captain or a lieutenant. He's like, I want to go to the chief's house. Yikes. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 101.7 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 101.7 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk. Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, They've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
There's 1,000 words that I could say to make you come home. Yeah.
At the top of hour 2, which starts in 7 or 8 minutes, I'm going to go into the details of the 2 Milwaukee police officers that were shot. Well, they were ambushed, actually. I got a text message from, let me read it. I don't want to mess the name up. From Shady O, saying police officers are poorly paid. How much would you have to pay somebody to be a cop in Milwaukee? No, I'm serious. What dollar amount is worth the high possibility that you might get shot? Not even getting killed, but getting wounded to where you can't walk anymore. How much money would y'all do it for? $70,000? How much would you need to make to be a cop in this city? Especially in the summertime. Know how much money? Like, what if how about $120,000? Would you maybe want to get shot then for $120? Eat a little lead? I mean, you can retire after 25 years. So maybe $125,000, $150,000, because nobody wants to be a cop in this city. Speaking of cops in this city, I listened to Dr. Ken's show yesterday. I listened to more of Dr. Ken's show yesterday than I think I ever have since 1017 The Truth became a radio station. Is it like that every day? If it is, I'm here for it. I was all up in the chat. I'm chatting with people. I even typed in the chat. You know what it is? I think people, they call Dr. Ken just to mess with him. I think they just call him just to badger him. That's just stupid. I don't want. And then I thought he hung up on Al, but he didn't hang up on Al. He turned Al down, and he turned Al's, because Al called yesterday. Ooh, Al and Dr. Ken got into it. It's not like that every day. It can't be. Because if that's the case, his show's way better than mine. It was heated and argumentative, but I had to chime in. That's a reason why I don't listen to some of my colleagues' shows, is because I'm so compelled. I can't help it. I can't help it. If I hear something, I gotta chime in. That's why I could never be a producer. Because producers are supposed to just produce. Sometimes producers be chiming in. I couldn't stay silent on certain things. Because you gotta. Because I was just going to be a little casual observer of Dr. Ken's show. I was watching it on my TV. You know, you can put the YouTube on your TV. And you can also have the chat streaming on your TV. So I'm just like, I'm going to put it on the TV. I had some stuff I was doing around the house. I got Dr. Ken's show on in the background. And I happened to look at the TV and seeing some of the chat. I was like, I better open up my cell phone. Because I can't respond or type in the chat from my TV. I got to do that from my cell phone. And I had to chime in. But I don't know. I'm torn because I was very entertained. But at the same time, I was also compelled to give my 2 cents. Which you shouldn't do. I think there's a respect factor amongst hosts that you're not supposed to violate. If I talk about my colleagues, hopefully I'll do it in a favorable light unless they make me really, really angry. No, I shouldn't say that because they make me angry all the time. If they're putting out false narratives to a community that does not have many outlets like this. We don't have many places where Black people can vent and come up with ideas and solutions and collaboration, etc. So if false things are going on, I get a little heated sometimes. But oh man, Dr. Ken's show was just whoo. A couple of days ago, Doc B, who was filling in for Tori, I think that was on Monday or Tuesday, maybe Tuesday. Doc B got mad at me because I talked about how expensive renting a section is or a booth is at a nightclub, and then Doc, he caught himself getting a little mad at me because that's how he makes his money. It still doesn't change the fact that somebody will pay $1,500 for a section at a nightclub, which is 30 square feet, and you're renting it for 3 or 4 hours that you're at the club. That's more than a month's worth of rent for 30 or 40 square feet, and you got to go home at 2 o'clock. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, in case you missed the amazing premiere of the 8 Block, you've got another chance to tap in. Coming straight from the heart of Milwaukee, the 8 Block is a bold, youth-led radio show powered by City on the Hill and 1017 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jam, and 8 Milwaukee teens with real stories and real lives. So don't miss the replay this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1017 The Truth and hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block. Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our 3rd annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
Carrie, where's Tori Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do the wiggles. The slate's coming in. What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Talking about a very violent last 24 hours in the city of Milwaukee. 5 people shot. I'm not sure if that includes 2 Milwaukee police officers. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeff Norman. Good news, he was reappointed to a fresh 4-year term as our city's chief. At the same time, a 67-year-old man was caught breaking into his house. 2 firearms were recovered near the scene of where that man was apprehended. I do not know if those firearms were stolen from the chief's house or if the individual who was accused of breaking into the chief's property had those firearms on his person. I want to get into the details and what we know so far of the 2 Milwaukee police officers that were ambushed yesterday. The individual, unless they have been caught since I've been broadcasting, they are still on the loose, and just know that the Milwaukee Police Department likely will stop at nothing to apprehend an individual who ambushed 2 of their fellow police officers. Loakton Lovely said something in the YouTube chat that I want to bring up to you guys. She says businesses don't want to stay in the black community. There hasn't been a Target in the black community for 20 years. Stores like Walgreens, Walmart, Pick and Save are leaving too. So there's a lot to unpack there. So the first thing is, has there ever been a Target in the black community? And I'm thinking real hard. Where on the north side of the city of Milwaukee has there ever been a Target to where we could say there was a Target in the black community? Target has always been like a lower end, I want to call it a discount retailer, but more for bargain conscious suburban shoppers. I think there was a period of time where Target, they tried to be a little bit more high end, and they did like an advertising campaign to make Target look a little bit more hip and a little bit more chic. If you want to call the Target, they used to be on 85th and Brown Deer Road, and I don't think they've been closed for 20 years. If you want to call the Target, they used to be on 85th and Brown Deer Road, a Target that may have been in the black community. When they built that Target, that whole neighborhood used to be white. The northwest side of the city of Milwaukee was damn near an extension of the suburbs. So I don't think there's ever been a Target in the black community. As far as Walmart's closing, it seems like, oh, they don't want to be in a black community no more. No, what happened was Walmart overbuilt. Just like a lot of the condos in the city of Milwaukee, the condos that we have along the river, they overbuilt. Half of them condos are completely empty. They overbuilt because for a while, well, not for a while, forever, Walmart was only for rural country bumpkins with no teeth. There was no Walmarts in the city of Milwaukee. You had to go out to damn near Franklin to go to that Walmart. I think it was on South 27th, the Highway 100, maybe both of them. And then they overbuilt in the city. And you can't return a high enough investment to your shareholders if you have all of the cash outlay for all of the stores that you're constantly building and building and building. Here's the other thing. I don't blame them stores for closing. Donald Trump's tariffs have a lot of the products that are made overseas questionable as to how much they're going to cost. COVID also showed a lot of these large big box retailers that supply chains are very, very sensitive. So if we get another pandemic, which is likely because we got more anti-vaxxers in this country than I ever could have imagined. Did you know the number one reason why we've increased life expectancy in this country in the last 100 years is because we prevented a lot of children, like infant deaths? And how do we do that? Vaccines! I go so crazy. Like the progress that we have made, like people are in such disbelief of science. But that's the thing. When they slam that Bible down your throat and they pound you with religion, you don't believe in fact and science no more. You just walk on faith. I walk on statistics. Sherwin, the probability if you go swimming in a lightning storm of your black ass getting struck is 72-1. If your black ass stays out of the swimming pool during a lightning storm, your probability is 34 billion to 1. Where do you think I'm going to be? Some of you are, I'm going to go swimming because the Lord has protected me. The Lord also going to zap your black ass too. Damn. So I don't want people to think that businesses are moving out of the black community because, like, oh, they don't like us. They want to sell us everything. You know what's happening is, here's a perfect example. 60th and Lisbon. You know that the street Lisbon in Milwaukee, it's a diagonal street. Lisbon, Lisbon. There used to be a CVS on 60th and Lisbon. CVS left. Guess what's there now? Dollar General. If a Walmart is closing or a Target is closing, guess who was coming in? Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Store, Dollar Mart. And guess what? Here, I think it's Dollar General is like the parent company. $40 billion. So if a CVS closes, the Dollar General will be like, well, where is it located? Where at 60th and Lisbon? Sure, we'll buy it. We'll sell these N-words, the cheapest, most garbage, lead-tainted, absolute crap products. Absolutely. Here's the thing about Dollar General. You got to know this. 2% of their management, black, $40 billion in profit, give nothing to black people, nothing to black causes, nothing to NAACP, nothing to the Urban League. $40 billion. And here's the thing. 75% of every African American in this country lives within like 2 or 3 miles or something of a Dollar General. They are what is coming in. So I don't want folks to think like, oh, they're closing all these businesses. Sure, some are closing, but no one is going to just vacate a black community because we spend our money on whatever is in front of us. If it's a corner store that's in front of us, we're going to go there and spend our money. We're going to hate the corner store. We're going to be mean to the people behind the counter, but at the same time, we're going to make them rich. Let's talk to someone who is also getting rich off the black community. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. You know, I believe there's 200,000 adults in this country. No, 200 million. And out of that 200 million, I just think, you know, we're going to go still forward. Because you know, I know it's a lot of crime in the maybe rough neighborhoods, but think about it during slavery and cowboy times. They was wearing guns, and it's not like that now. Now it seems like we're going back to the Wallace time, George Wallace, and you know it'll be checked, and it'll get better. But I just like to ask you a question. You know, if my D wants to hear and record, why don't you allow him? He accommodates you. And if he want to hear it, so what you going see, you know, he's a good example. He works hard. And it reminded me of how you know, you and Rick got in an altercation. Rick said, hey, if I got to go down, I'm letting everybody else go down. And okay, it got quiet. And then a half an hour later, yeah, but we get a new producer. See, you gotta mess with somebody, don't you? Don't you, Sherwin? This is a shame.
Bob, like when you close your eyes at night, like what happens in your head? Because I imagine it's like a little birdie just flying around in circles. Like when in your mind, when you start thinking about stuff, is it just like a little hamster on that little wheel? Like what's going on in there? How do you?
You just had to say, I'm going to give me a new producer. Mess with him. You just had to mess with him.
You remember what he said? Recall what he said yesterday. We was talking about food stamps and people buying and selling food stamps when Donald Trump was cutting food stamps. Rick was like, I'll buy some food stamps.
Now, you don't have to bring it up. You don't have to bring up what he said or what he did. You don't have to bring it up. No, I brought up you know, how angry you were by saying to him, yeah, we're going to get a new producer. It had drowned out, but you had to bring it up to mess with him. See, that's what I mean about you.
If the feds come, like right now is not the time to play with the feds. I don't know if anybody's been paying a little bit of attention to what's going on nationally. I know I've been focused on local stuff a lot, but there's like a real mean person who is in charge of the federal government, and they're actually cutting a lot of the federal benefits that people qualify for. I'm just saying, like, now is not the political climate to joke around about that kind of stuff, because I'm seeing how they're just going into businesses and just go in and they're snatching people. Bob, do you ever hear me joke around about committing a federal crime? When was the last time you heard me joke around about that? I want you to give me the time and the day, because you got a shocking memory when it comes to stuff I said yesterday. Some things you don't joke about. But Bob, why don't we do this? Bob, let's hold on now. Listen. I'm gonna give you something. I want you to listen now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go into the kitchen. Go into the refrigerator, or you old school, you probably call it an ice box. Go into the ice box. Go pour you a nice little glass of milk and put it in the microwave for a little while just to warm up that little milk. And then I want you to go in the living room, sit down on the couch, and you sip that little warm milk. And I want you to get a good little nap. You sound a little sleepy. Go get you some rest. Okay. If you play my D's record, he's a good example. He works hard. Play his record, and then I'll do that. I'll talk to you later, sir, so you won't get on my case no more with your honorary self. Bye-bye. Watch your mouth. I think it's just going to come down to one thing. I'm just going to have to fight Bob. I'm going to fight him. My D, you want to hear Keith's Sweat record? Come on. Here, hold on. Where my little music thing at? Come on. Cops getting shot. Chiefs. House got broke into. Yeah, you want to hear it? Yeah, come on. Bob said, yeah, here you go. You better be dancing. Get up, my D, and take your shirt off now. Put some baby oil on. You want to hear the song? Here it is. What? I want to see baby oil. I want to see you listen. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, have you ever wanted to meet the people behind Milwaukee's Realest Talk? Well, here's your chance. Join us Friday, July 11th from 5 until 7 p.m. at Mr. B's Privilege Lounge, 8617 West Brown Deer Road for our first installment of Beyond the Mic. That's right, Milwaukee. We want to hang with you, share some laughs, talk about the issues, and build community one happy hour at a time. Beyond the Mic, where conversation continues after the show. Only from 101.7 The Truth.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Get that jump start to a fulfilling career at Carroll University through majors such as video game design, music therapy, pre-law, and over 90 additional majors. Carroll University is Wisconsin's oldest university. Founded in 1846, Carroll offers students small class sizes, personalized attention, and a generous financial aid package while they receive a cutting-edge education. Learn more at carrollu.edu. That's carrollu.edu.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because their home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote from an agent at amfam.com. Products are not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
State Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This song just like ubiquitous with the black backyard barbecue from like the early 80s through the 1990s. That scene in Menace to Society where Kane got those Daytons, put on that forest green Mustang 5.0 drop top, man, listen, I don't know. Oh, if I could go back to those days. All right, let's see what we got here. What's happening in your city of Milwaukee with summer being not even a week old? 20th and Capitol. What we know so far, Milwaukee Police Department said it had, at approximately 6:20 p.m., a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old were both shot. Both went to the hospital for treatment of non-fatal gunshot wounds. Milwaukee police continue to seek an unknown suspect. Them kids know who shot them. 30th and Lisbon, what we know, Milwaukee police officers are investigating a fatal shooting that occurred around 8:36 p.m. The victim's age is currently unknown. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are looking for whoever's responsible. They don't even know who they're looking for. Cheyenne and Darien, that must be somewhere on the northwest side. Milwaukee police are investigating another shooting that happened around 9:20 p.m. The victim, a 20-year-old, sustained a non-fatal gunshot wound and arrived at a local hospital for treatment. No arrests have been made. 25th and Garfield. 2 Milwaukee police officers were shot and injured near 25th and Garfield. The Milwaukee Police Department responded to the scene around 9 p.m. Assistant Police Chief Nicole Waldner said it got upgraded to shots fired while officers were on the way. And upon arrival, they were unexpectedly struck in an alley. A 29-year-old officer with just over 6 years of experience on the job suffered from non-life-threatening injuries. A 32-year-old officer, also with just over 6 years experience, is in critical condition. So the first thing that I heard last night was that officer was dead. But then somebody updated that article, because I posted it in the Hughes Views Facebook group. That, of course, is the Facebook group that corresponds with this show. A lot of the stories and the links that I reference on this program, I'll put in the Hughes Views Facebook group. Somebody updated the post that said the officer had been revived. Ain't that wild? A suspect in the shooting of 2 Milwaukee police officers near 24th and Garfield yesterday is in custody, according to a source. The officers were shot in what is being called an ambush last night. During a press briefing, Assistant Milwaukee Police Chief Nicole Waldner said the 2 injured officers have just over 6 years experience on the force. She said the call for service came into 911 at 9:10 p.m. for a, quote, subject with weapons call. While en route, the call was upgraded to shots fired. When the officers arrived, they were, quote, unexpectedly fired upon in the alley of the 2200 block of North 24th Place. Both officers were struck and were unable to return fire. A 29-year-old officer was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, while a 32-year-old remains in the hospital in critical condition. On Thursday, Assistant Chief Waldner said police are searching for a known suspect and that the Milwaukee Police Homicide Division will be in charge of that investigation. Quote, the problem is, too many people have guns, Waldner said, so I could put an officer on every corner. That will not eliminate the number of guns in the hands of people who shouldn't have them right all over the city. So I'm going to pause there. I wonder if the suspect had priors. Are they a felon? Should they have had a gun in the first place? And if they were a felon, and I don't know any of this, I don't know who this person is, what was their last sentence like? What was the last crime they committed? They committed violent offense? Because I'd imagine this is not their first rodeo. If you're shooting at the cops, if you're ambushing cops in an alley, you've been around the block quite a few times if you're up to that level of criminality. I wonder if they committed a violent crime in their past. Chances are this person probably has a rap sheet. What if they committed several violent offenses and they are still out here walking around? Because if this person that shot and almost killed 2 police officers, if they should be serving 30 years and they got 18 months because, if they got a 30-year sentence, it would be racist. I have come to find out, and this is just me making an assessment after talking about these situations year after year and month after month and day after day, that when heavy-handed consequences are put on us, our youth, if we want to try and be corrective and correct their behavior and be stern and have boundaries with black men, with black women and black kids, it's racist. It's racist. So consequences are racist. You can't talk to that kid like that, even though that kid is endangering themselves and the public, because that would be racist if you did that. That's not fair. You can't be racist against black people. So just don't say anything to them. I don't know what we were talking about earlier in the week, but I was mad about something, and I refused to make up excuses for disgusting behavior. And white folks are I can't control white people. I can maybe get them to listen to me for 10 or 15 minutes a day. That's about the only amount of control that I got over white folks. I don't even waste my time, effort, and energy trying to control them. But what I can do is I can elucidate behavior that is not indicative of who black people are. And I'm going to do that. I'm never going to make up an excuse for poor black behavior, especially when that behavior makes us look bad and is more likely to be detrimental to other black people. So I'm going to call it out and I'm going to distance us from it. So I don't know who it was. The call says, Sherwin, you sounded kind of mean. Like, hold on. I'm over here trying to improve the public image of black people, because right now, I bet you 50% of the white people that say that they like us and say that they have black friends secretly hate us. I think they do. It's just politically incorrect to say you hate a black person. Unless you're a Republican. You know how freeing it must be if you're a white person and you vote for Donald Trump and you stand in that space and all the things that MAGA stands for? Like, Donald Trump is allowing white folks that had to be quiet for like 30 years. They couldn't express their feelings and their thoughts. Now it's all over the place. They got whole social media platforms dedicated to angry, racist white people. So when I call out the behavior, when a black person says, Sherwin, you're being so mean. They're just a kid. Do y'all know these kids will blow your brains out? You ever thought about that? You can intervene if you want to. I'm not going to tell you not to. It's your life. You see 2 kids. The majority of the people that I read that got shot, 17 to 20 years old. Go ahead. You see them fighting, you see them arguing, go ahead and jump in. Try to get them to talk it out. They will blow your brains out. And so when I call out that behavior, because that's not indicative of us, but then at the same time, people will be like, but they're closing our shops and our stores. What if, just for a minute, just imagine this. What if you have, I don't know, think of a damn store that we're mad it's closing in the black neighborhood. I don't know, Walmart, Green, Smart, Woolworths, I don't know, something. And what if the employees are scared to go to work? You ever think about that? What if you can't? What if the corporation is like, no, we want to be in the black community. We want to provide good products and good services and pharmacy services and grocery store services to the black community. What if there's a company, what if Kroger is like, we want the blacks to have the good fruits and the vegetables and not have to go to the corner store and eat the taki? Hey, question for you. What's in a taki? It's got too much. It's too much. It makes you pucker. I don't like a taki. I bet you it's poison in Takis. I ain't never seen a white kid eat a taki in my life. Just a little food for thought, literally. What if the corporations are like, yeah, we want to have a legitimate business here where we do right by the black community. But what if they can't find employees? Like, y'all sometimes forget that employees get robbed a lot. Leaving the store late at night after closing. Maybe one of the employees has a bag full of cash doing the bank drop. You ever think about that? And I get it. It's unfortunate and it's frustrating. Oh, Sherwin, they're closing our shops and our stores in our neighborhood. Okay, would you work there and your shift ends at 11:30? You got to walk out to your car in that parking lot. Would you want to? Well, no, I wouldn't want to work there. Well, why do we expect somebody else to? Shady sent me another text message at 833-212-1017. Actually, several people sent me text messages at 833-212-1017. We were talking about, Shady first said police officers are poorly paid. And then I responded via text and I said, do you think if their salaries were higher, more people would want to be police? And then Shady fires back and says, for such dangerous job, $150,000 should be starting pay. IT workers easily make six figures. How do we compare a cop to an IT worker? Do IT workers get shot? Like if your printer don't work, do people still use printers? Yeah, I guess so. So if you're at the office and you're in your cubicle and you can't get a PDF document to print, and you call or text or email the IT guy at your company, and if he doesn't fix that printer, do you kick his ass? Like, do you pull your pistol on him? Do you threaten? I don't know if it's the same comparison because I don't know if the danger level of an IT worker, and I think it's just a weird comparison. Shady says that police officers should start at $150,000 because, IT workers make six figures. IT work is also hard. Like knowing how to do all that stuff and networking and coding and all this stuff. The other part is, okay, cool. You guys want more cops? Do we need more police? We got to pay the cops more money. Where the money going to come from? You ever think about that? What are you willing to sacrifice? How many roads are not going to get paved, potholes filled and plowed? How many schools are going to have less money to operate if we want to hire more cops? Because that's what it's actually like. After this summer, I think we go into, when does the city of Milwaukee do their budget? Now? In the fall? I don't know. Whenever. People are going to show up to budget hearings, going to say, hey, you know what? We want more police on the streets. Because remember, the summer is only a week old. The summer is only a week old, and look how violent it is. And Donald Trump's presidency is still within the first 6 months, and look how violent that's been. I see a trend. The public may come out in full force like they did when they were opposing the sales tax increase. Man, I wish we would have opposed that sales tax increase, but whatever. The public may say, hey, this summer of 2025 was bad. It was real violent, and it will be. We'll say that come fall. I'm already looking forward to the fall. I really am. I'm already over this summer. This damn summer is a week old. I ain't even went to Bastille Days yet. Hell, I might not even go. Kidding. I'm going to be there. Let me also say this. If you see me at Bastille Days, just keep it between us. You understand me? Y'all hear? Listen, if you Rick, you don't even go down there. Oh, you gonna go? Well, let me tell you something. Whatever you see me doing, don't worry about it. Mind your business.
I actually go. Good morning, Sherwin.
What's up?
I actually go down there quite every year.
All right.
But I don't do Summerfest, State Fair. And I don't like big crowds. And then with Bastille Days, you can like move around. It's not really. It's not. Bastille Days is not really bad, to be honest with you. It's more grown folks than anything.
I do Bastille Days differently. We have. I got a crew. They get down there early. You understand?
You have a crew?
Oh yeah. I got a posse. So some of my like best friends in the whole world own the Ouzo Cafe, which is right around the corner. It's on Milwaukee Street. You know, Bastille Days is on Jefferson.
I've been there before.
I may link up with my people from Ouzo because they'll have a food cart. And so what we do is we stake out some territory real early in the afternoon. And so I'll have people, because Bastille Day starts on Thursday. I have people that will get our territory, because we got to claim territory because it gets hella crowded. They'll claim our territory while I'm still on the air right now. You understand me? So what I'll do is I'll do my little radio show, 3 hours of blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm mad. Black people, blah, 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 blah. Racism, white people, blah. Whatever I say for 3 hours. And I leave from here and I go down to Bastille Days. And then we have our territory already marked. And we just sit there and hold court until then they got the run, storm the Bastille, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, because the white people that run in the Bastille, the storming of the Bastille, that symbolic 3K or 5K run throughout downtown, they're all drunk. Like they're there, you see people drinking in running shorts. Guess who I saw there last year? Mandela Barnes wearing some hot pink running shorts. He's like, hey, Sherwin, what's going on? I'm like, Mandela, is that you? Almost Senator Mandela. He's like, yeah. What's up, Sherwin? What's up? I was like, hey, Mandela. All right, gotta go. Phew, and he took off. So they're down there. How do you run drunk? I don't like to run sober. If you see me running, put it this way. If y'all see Sherwin Hughes running, especially like fast, you probably should run too, because I'm running from something. I said it a million times. If I see a big old crowd of black people running, I'm standing on a street corner and I see a big crowd of blacks running, I'm going to start running with them. And I will ask questions while we're sprinting. Hey, does anybody know? Okay, I'll just... Running is not the same once you turn 50. It's different. When was the last time you sprinted? I'm not talking about you damn gym rats. Y'all sprint all the time. Like, y'all enjoy it. But if you haven't, like, really sprinted in a long time, stuff starts cracking and moving around.
That happens to me when I'm just standing.
Get used to it. You're getting old.
My knees be cracking.
Your neck, your back, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth. Wait before I go. I got a guest. I got 3 guests coming in the end of the show. Okay? 3 of them. I'm kind of scared. Because I don't know. Just make sure you stay tuned in. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Hope Christian Schools, they're transforming lives through the power of Christ-centered education. Their nurturing environment combines academic excellence with strong Christian values. They offer free transportation and free tuition options to help set children up for success. Through faith, dedication, and unconditional love, they empower their scholars to discover their God-given potential and pursue their greater purpose. Don't wait. Start your child's journey at hopeschools.org.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice with Tamara Castle from Associated Bank, and this is Making Your Money Work. I am so glad to be joined by Tamara Castle, AVP CRA Mortgage Loan Officer at Associated Bank. Today we will be talking more about first-time homebuyers and giving them some tips and some help. So the very first question I want to ask you is, I want to buy a home, right?
Yes.
Who do I contact first?
So you'll contact me through the website, so Associated Bank /TCastle. And of course, you can always give me a call, 262-888-3135. Text, leave a voicemail. We'll get you guys going.
All right, so that's step one.
Yes.
Now, this might not be step two, but it's definitely a good question that I have. Does Associated Bank have any assistance for first-time home buyers?
Yes, we do. So Associated Bank has different angles on assisting first-time buyers. The first one is we have a gift. So it's not a grant. So it's literally coming from our president to give first-time home buyers assistance with the down payment and closing costs. That's $3,000. So we can use that for, obviously, the down payment and closing costs. You can use it to buy down the rate. And pretty much every customer I have uses those funds for their first time. Because, again, sometimes it's hard to save. It's something that people use as a barrier. So we came up with, how can we assist customers? We really can't assist with credit per se, but we can assist with funds. And we don't want funds to stop someone from buying their first house. So we also have another grant called Down Payment Plus. That's $8,000. That can be also layered on top of our $3,000. So a lot of customers get those funds too. We do partner with Housing Resources, which has more funds. So they take care of the home buying education for us, and then we do the mortgage loan, and we connect all those grants together.
This has been Making Your Money Work, brought to you by Associated Bank.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's too easy to say that Walmart closed because black people are stealing. Maybe. But I know when Midtown Walmart closed in 2016, Walmart closed like 300 stores that year. And they weren't all because black people were stealing. Sometimes Walmart, they oversaturate an area and they have too many stores. And then they had this thing called Walmart Express. I don't even know what the hell that was. And they oversaturated those. They experimented a lot, and some of those experiments didn't pay off the way they had intended, but I think it's just an easier narrative to say, like, oh, they're closing the Walmarts where black people are. If that was the case, then, because black folks will steal whatever's available. I mean, no offense to black people, but come on. If that's the case, then people would just, then there'd be no stores anywhere at all. Because they have a way of mitigating what they call shrinkage. And the majority of the theft comes from employees. So somebody texted, can y'all verify this? Because I can't remember. Because I was saying there were no Targets, Target corporations, Target, big box retailers in a black community. The only one that I can remember is the one that was on 85th and Brown Deer Road. Now that became a majority black community, but when that Target was built, it wasn't a black community at the time. Somebody said there was a Target at Capitol Court. What? Was there? Was it where the remember when they had the Office Depot? Didn't they have an Office Depot? Is that where the Target was? Was there a Target? Can somebody tell me? It sounds like it might be true, but that was a hell of a long time ago if there was a Target at Midtown or Capitol Court. But also, Capitol Court was probably built in the 50s. That was a white neighborhood, too. Hard to believe. Hell, 27th and Valete, 8th and Burleigh used to be white neighborhoods. 27th and Center used to be white neighborhood. 35th and North used to be all white neighborhood. But was there? Oh, there was. Thank you, Miss Sean. There was a Capitol Court Target. That had to have been So I remember I went to Capitol Court when I was in high school. But then in 90, there was a shooting in the mall in Capitol Court in 1990. Maybe I was in the 10th grade. It was in 90. After that, went right downhill. And here's what I think happened. I think that the peak, because when Capitol Court just started rapidly dissipating, I think Northridge got a disproportionate amount of that business. And, you had the whole Jesse Anderson thing at Northridge. You're on.
Hi.
Hey, hi there now. Hey. Hello?
Yes, how are you this morning? I just want to give a quick call. I don't want to go on air, but regarding Capitol Court Target, there was a Target there, like the lady before me called, but there was also,
but you're on air.
It was either Gimbel's or Boston store.
Are you okay being on air?
No, I don't want to go on air.
Why not? Why? Hold on, stop talking. You're on. No, but I'm saying you're on the air.
Oh my goodness.
You're fine. It's just me and you talking. Ain't nobody listening but us.
I just wanted to clarify that it was a Gimbel's. I'm trying to recall. My kids were very young. They're all in their late 40s, mid to late 40s now.
But that was in the 70s.
But there was a Gimbel's there.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a Gimbel's there. And then after Gimbel's left, it was either Gimbel's or Boston store. But, that was a big complex, with a lot of stores.
Yes, it was.
After that, then the Target came in.
Okay.
And it lasted for a while because I used to take my kids up there. But before that, before it was even a mall that was outdoors, you had to enter through the outside to every store.
That's right. Mayfair was the same way back in the early days. That you are correct. So thank you.
Yes, it was. It probably should have stayed that way. Okay, you have a good day.
All right. All right then.
Thank you
all right.
for taking the call.
All right. Bye-bye then now. All right then. She said, I don't want to be on air. Sometimes when they say that, they cuss or they name specific people, but she didn't do that. Gimbel's. Gimbel's used to be all over the place. They used to be, was there a Gimbel's at Northridge? Might have been. Marshall Fields. They used to be at Mayfair. So I'm trying to think, where was, they restructured all of Midtown because Capitol Court was an indoor mall. Where was the indoor mall part? It must have been where Walmart was, where there's nothing now. Is that where the indoor mall part? Because it was an indoor shopping center. It was a mall, Capitol Court was. All right, I got to get back on task here because once we get to reminiscing about all of the things that used to be, that's where the show is going to go. Hey, listen. At the end of the show, I'm nervous. I got some guests coming in. I was even too scared to tell the people I work with. You guys, don't panic, okay? Please don't panic. Efforts to address racial disparities in the criminal justice system have, in many places, contributed to reforms that result in more lenient sentences, lower bail amounts, and increased use of deferred prosecution or diversion programs. So I'm giving you guys information on how we call the criminal justice system racist because a disproportionate number of black people, especially black men, were being incarcerated. So the system was like, oh, okay, you think the system is racist? So then we're going to be lenient and we're going to have deferred prosecutions and we're just going to let everybody go. All right, keep listening. The intention behind these reforms was to counteract decades of data showing that black defendants often received harsher penalties than their white counterparts for similar offenses. For example, many jurisdictions have re-examined cash bail systems because they disproportionately impact people of color and those with lower incomes, leading to reforms that set lower bail amounts or eliminate cash bail for nonviolent offenses. Similarly, prosecutors and judges in some areas have been encouraged or even required to consider alternatives to incarceration, such as probation, treatment programs, or community service, especially for nonviolent first-time offenders. But something happened to where violent offenders got those diversion programs too. And violent offenders are not always rehabilitated, so if they are being let out of jail on deferred prosecutions and suspended sentences and lower cash bails, there's a disproportionate number of them that go on to commit additional violent offenses. And because Milwaukee is segregated, those offenses they are committing are against other black people. Deferred prosecution and diversion programs have also expanded as part of this movement. These programs aim to keep people out of jail, reduce recidivism, and address underlying issues like substance abuse or mental health, which are often factors in criminal behavior. However, these changes are controversial. Critics argue that such reforms can sometimes be perceived as too lenient, potentially and ultimately undermining public safety and or eroding public confidence in the justice system itself. Supporters counter that these measures are necessary to create more equitable systems and to break cycles of incarceration that disproportionately affect communities of color. I could see a bunch of white liberal progressives that fundamentally hate black people because those are the ones that will gentrify your neighborhood. Do you know that when white people move into black neighborhoods, you think they're like, oh, they like black people. They want to be around black people. The science shows that when white people gentrify a neighborhood, liberals and progressives, because conservatives don't gentrify neighborhoods. Let's be clear about that. A conservative would rather buy a farm and have their own gun range or do a hobby farm before they move to Brewers Hill. And that's just facts. So it's the liberals and the progressives that like the urban lifestyle, that want to be in the city to take advantage of the arts and the culture. But what we have found, and the data is meeting this out, what we have found is that when white liberals and progressives move into what used to be black neighborhoods, they call the police more. They call the police on their neighbors more. Now, I also can see some white liberals and progressives saying, oh my God, the criminal justice system is too harsh. You need to be much more lenient and don't lock people up and don't have 3 strikes laws and make sure the cash bail is really, really low, because they know that when those violent offenders are getting deferred prosecutions and low bail, the harm that they will do when they get out of jail, when they get out of confinement, is going to be disproportionate on black people. In Milwaukee and other cities with stark racial disparities, these reforms are often at the center of heated debates about justice, safety, and fairness. I've got some Milwaukee-specific examples. Where are they? Here. First, the Milwaukee County Criminal Legal Data Landscape Report from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee highlights that black individuals in Milwaukee face disproportionately higher rates of police stops, arrests, referrals, charges, convictions, and incarceration compared to white residents. The report notes that, especially in 2020, there's been a push for data-informed and community-engaged reforms to address these disparities. These reforms include efforts to reduce reliance on incarceration, increase the use of alternatives like deferred prosecution, and lower bail. 25th and Garfield, 2 Milwaukee police officers were shot and injured. Cheyenne and Dixon, Milwaukee police officers investigating a shooting that happened around 9:20 p.m. The victim is 20 years old. 30th and Lisbon, Milwaukee police are investigating a fatal shooting that occurred at 8:36 p.m. The victim's age is currently unknown. 20th and Capitol, MPD said it happened at approximately 6:20 p.m. A 17-year-old and a 20-year-old were both shot. 1 dead, 5 wounded. But you can't incarcerate people and you got to have low bail because that's racist. So let them out, and then we'll all be happy. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievements BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin Anniversary for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th from 2 to 6:30 p.m. at JA's headquarters near Highway 100 and Good Hope Road. While you're there, tour Jim's JA BizTown, where students take on real-world roles like CEO, banker, and mayor, learning how communities thrive through teamwork and leadership. Sign up today at wisconsin.ja.org.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I walk on the shoulders of giants who have come before me. I am ASAP and Maya Angelou. I am Marva Collins and Frederick Douglass.
From A to Z, I celebrate, emulate, and commemorate their example.
This is part of the Declaration of Excellence Milwaukee College Prep scholars recite not just during Black History Month, but each and every morning. Because our students don't just honor history, they're determined to shape it. Enroll your scholar for the 2025-26 school year at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
State Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Are you guys ready for this? I just want to make sure you're ready because summer is coming. And there's a lot of fun summertime activities. You can go to the summer festivals. Summerfest is going on. It's going on tonight and tomorrow. And not Sunday, though. I don't think they do Summerfest on Sunday. Got all sorts of stuff. Got jazz in the parks. Yay. Got the lakefront. Fun. Yay, lakefronts. Bastille Days in the State Fair and lots of things. General trends and law enforcement statements. Okay, you ready? Milwaukee law enforcement and city officials have repeatedly stated that, quote, a significant number. They won't give us details. I want the number, but they won't give me the number. They just said a significant number of violent crimes, including homicides and shootings, have been committed by individuals who are out on bail or awaiting trial for other offenses. I'm going to read that one more time. Can I read it one more time? Because, you know, there's people in the back. Why are we always picking on the people in the back? Because they don't pay attention. Milwaukee law enforcement and city officials have repeatedly stated that a significant number of violent crimes, including homicides and shootings, have been committed by individuals who are out on bail or awaiting trial for other offenses. For example, Milwaukee Police Assistant Chief Paul Formolo told Time magazine in 2022 that, quote, many of the people involved in these shootings are out on bail after being arrested for a separate shooting. However, the article does not provide a specific percentage or raw number of these cases. The Milwaukee Homicide Review Commission has found that a notable portion of homicide suspects and victims have open cases or are under some form of community supervision, including bail or bond, at the time of the incident. While the exact annual breakdowns are not published, local reporting and police statements have cited that in some years, as many as 1 in 5 homicide suspects is out on bail. But we wanted to lower the bail because bail was racist. Okay, cool. 1 in 5, 20% of people committing the homicides are out on bail. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections and Milwaukee County Circuit Court do not publish a year-by-year public-facing data set specifically tracking re-offense rates for those on bail. However, the issue has been significant enough to prompt legislative proposals to allow judges to consider public safety when setting bail, a change from the previous system that focused only on ensuring a court appearance. While exact annual breakdowns are not published, local reporting and police statements have cited that in some years, as many as 20% of homicide suspects were out on bail. Maybe the bail is too low. I know. I can already hear it. That was a racist thing for me to say. The bail is too low. So we'll just have to figure out a way how to navigate 20%. Imagine if we could cut homicides by 20% by increasing bail. No. I'm not saying that we need to do that because that would be racist. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections and Milwaukee County Circuit Court do not publish a year-by-year public-facing data set specifically tracking re-offense rates for those out on bail. However, the issue has been significant enough to prompt legislative proposals to allow judges to consider public safety when setting bail. Milwaukee's spike in homicides and the violent crimes since 2020 has intensified scrutiny of bail practices. In 2022, Milwaukee was on pace for a 20% increase in homicides compared to 2021, and police and community leaders have pointed to repeat offenders out on bail as the contributing factor. While there is strong anecdotal and some analytical evidence that a significant share of serious crimes in Milwaukee are committed by individuals out on bail and awaiting trial, there is no comprehensive year-by-year public data set with exact numbers or percentages. For the years between 2010 and 2024, the estimates suggest that 20% of homicide suspects were out on bail, but this varies. I think the reason why they don't have actual data published because it would be embarrassing. Because all the criminal justice reform that was made, like lowering bail and deferred prosecution, we got to admit sometimes, y'all, some things don't work. We tried it. It's not working. 5 people were shot last night. The summer is 6 days old. Of those 5 people that were shot last night in the city, 2 of them were cops. It is okay to have a bright idea and to be excited about your idea and to try something and to believe that it's progress. But once you put that idea into motion and it doesn't work, it is okay to say we screwed up and we have to go back to the drawing board. Lowering the bail, there's direct correlation between that and people that are out on bail committing additional violent crimes, including as many as 20% of our homicides in this city alone. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
Truth Nation, have you ever wanted to meet the people behind Milwaukee's Realest Talk? Well, here's your chance. Join us Friday, July 11th from 5 until 7 p.m. at Mr. B's Privilege Lounge, 8617 West Brown Deer Road for our first installment of Beyond the Mic. That's right, Milwaukee. We want to hang with you, share some laughs, talk about the issues, and build community one happy hour at a time. Beyond the Mic, where conversation continues after the show. Only from 1017 The Truth.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do the wiggles. The slate's coming in. What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
You're just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. There's an event coming up tomorrow. Going to be talking about that in a little while. Also going to have some in-studio guests toward the end of the program. I called today's program the Chinese Finger Trap. You know what a Chinese finger trap is? It's a trap for your fingers, but the more you pull, the harder it resists. And in fact, to get out of the Chinese finger trap, you actually have to lean in. And that is how you can release your fingers. But you resist it and you pull and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And I think progressives and activists and others that wanted criminal justice reform, because the data meted out African-American men were disproportionately harmed by the heavy hand of the criminal justice system. So we resisted. And what the system did is it tightened. But the system tightened by being lenient. I want you guys to be able to follow that logic. It's kind of topsy-turvy, but that is what white supremacy is. It's almost like the opposite will be true. We pulled and we resisted racism in all its form, especially in the easy-to-identify criminal justice system. And so what it did is it tightened. It tightened by being more lenient on people that are much more likely to commit a violent offense. And because America is still very segregated, not necessarily by race as much, but certainly by class and by income, Black people still tend to live in specific areas of every metro location, geographic metro location in this country. So if leftists and progressives and activists say the criminal justice system, it is too harsh, then they said, okay, we'll just let them free. Deferred prosecution. What'd you do? You shot somebody? Okay. Well, did you kill him? You didn't? Okay. Community service. Go read to kids. 100 hours of reading to kids because you shot somebody because, if you incarcerate someone, that's racist. And if somebody commits an offense that most in the public would agree is worthy of a 10-year sentence, no, don't do that. That's too long. How about 18 months? And we thought that it was progress. But it isn't progress if it's backfiring. I think it was probably a good idea because whenever you identify something that could potentially be racist, you get black people's attention. But the solution to whatever that problem is that you identify as racist, the solution sometimes could be more racism, but much more covert. And so I have to now look at the 10,000-foot view. Let's step out because who is and who creates the criminal justice system? So I think part of it is us. The other part about the 1994 crime bill, because for like the 2016 presidential election, it was really a hot ticket to talk about that, where we would call, they said Joe Biden voted for it. They used that against Joe Biden. Isn't that the craziest thing ever? That the conservatives said that Joe Biden was responsible for incarcerating black people because Joe Biden voted for the 1994 crime bill. You know who else voted for it? Bernie Sanders. And the progressives love him, but I think that also is the point. We're being too harsh on criminals that may harm black communities because, let's come on, y'all. Can we be honest here? Sometimes it is black people pulling the trigger. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. But in our neighborhoods, we are much more likely to be shot by one of our own than a Mexican. I'm not saying the Mexicans don't do shooting, but we ain't got to worry about Mexicans shooting much longer because they're going to get deported. Side note, do you think they'll have Mexican Fiesta this year? Because it's supposed to be in August. Wouldn't that be a bad idea considering how motivated immigration and customs enforcement is? I'm not saying they shouldn't have Mexican Fiesta, but it seems like a lot of people might not want to go to it. Especially when we found out, was last week, where ICE tried to get into a Dodgers game? You know how many Latinos and Hispanics play baseball? In fact, they call it baseball. We play baseball. Baseball. So part of the criminal justice system is us. In 1994, we're seeing the horrible impacts from the crack epidemic, and it was black neighborhoods that were suffering. The gangs, the drive-by shootings, it really was a lot of black people. So guess what? Good, decent, honest, hardworking, and scared for their lives black people said, we got to do something with these people. We have to lock them up. I don't want anybody to think for a second. So what happened was black people, black mayors, black voters, black residents, and black citizens said, we are tired of this mayhem in our community. Do something. Now, here's the thing. When black folks want to get tough on crime, there's always white society willing to oblige us. But we wanted those people locked up, and we can't shirk away from that. So what we can't do is, because the 1994 crime bill ended up having negative repercussions overall for the black community, we can't all of a sudden, as black people, distance ourselves from the demand that we had for longer sentences. Because back then, we got tired of folks with just a slap on the wrist. So who is the criminal justice system? Well, some of it is us, and it's our motivation to want to do something about crime. Everybody wants to feel safe. And if at the time when we had a much more antiquated view about safety, because back then we weren't talking about trauma and trauma-informed care and mental health and mental illness. Back then, we just wanted people locked up. Just get them off the streets. And Bill Clinton was like, hey, okay, then you want me to lock them up? 100,000 more cops, and we're going to build prisons till the sun comes up and goes back down again, or however he sounds. But it also took legislation. Who, even to this day, and right now we have the most diverse core of elected officials that we've ever had in this nation's history. But I still want to give you a snapshot of who our elected officials are. So first and foremost, the criminal justice system is voters and their desire to want to feel safe. They want to do stuff outside. They want to have a nice summer. They don't want to have to worry about a night like last night where 5 people got shot, including to cops. Because if we continue down this trajectory, it will be the public that will want tougher sentences and higher bail. But elected officials will oblige us when we want that, because they won't get elected if they support lower bail and deferred prosecution. It's like a pendulum that swings. And sometimes this pendulum, the pendulum of the criminal justice system, it goes from lock them up forever, throw away the key, truth in sentencing, nobody gets parole, bails are really, really high. And then it swings back in a total other direction, like leniency, deferred prosecution, low bail, and community service. And then we find out that that doesn't work because violence then spikes back up. Then the pendulum swings the other way. It's very cyclical, but it's also the American body politic itself. You can go from a liberal or Democratic president all the way to a conservative one. Then we get mad at the conservative one, and you go right back to a liberal one again. You had Barack Obama. We swung to Donald Trump. You had Donald Trump. You swung to Joe Biden. You had Joe Biden. You swung back to Donald Trump. I don't know who the hell is next. A socialist? A socialist just won the primary in New York. And not only is he a socialist, he's African. African, but like Middle Eastern African, who just won a primary in New York. So we'll see. So who is the other part of the criminal justice system? Well, our elected officials, because they are the ones that have to enact and pass and debate the laws. The 119th Congress is the most racially and ethnically diverse in history. 25% of these current members of Congress identify as Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, or multiracial. There are 62 African Americans in the House of Representatives. There are 3 African Americans in the U.S. Senate. There are 59 Latino and or Hispanics in the House of Representatives. There are 7 in the Senate. Asian American, Pacific Islander, there are 19 in the House. There are 2 in the Senate. Native American, there are 6 in the House, 0 in the Senate. The rest are white. So that's... Let me do a little quick math here. Just saying, 62. Of the 535 members of Congress, a full, 400 are white. How about the state level? 28% of state legislators are people of color. 10% Black, 7% Latino, Hispanic, 2% Asian American, Pacific Islander, 1% Native American. The other 72% of state legislators are white. That's who the criminal justice system is. Yes, we do have some diversity, but it's still made up of white people. But some of those white people are Democrats and lefties and liberals. A lot of them are not. What about statewide executives? As of 2024, 6 governors were people of color, and that includes Black, Latino, and Asian American, meaning 44 state governors are white. So the criminal justice system and the components that it is comprised of are voters, are residents, are citizens, but then the rest are legislators. So if some voters, some residents, and some citizens no longer feel safe in their neighborhoods and their communities, they're going to go to their legislators and say, we want more penalties and harsher punishments because we don't feel safe. And they're saying this to a majority white elected official population. So we'll get what we ask for. If we want stiffer penalties, they're coming. Let's talk to Sherman. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing today?
Doing okay. What's on your mind?
I'm all right. I wanted to talk about the prison system and how people. I agree with you that some people are saying that we need tougher sentences. I've been in prison before. I did almost 11 years in prison. And as far as that 94 crime bill, I would have voted for it too. I would have voted for it right now. And I'm the person that's quick to say, when I went to prison, I deserved to go to jail. There was no mistake. To be honest with you, they should have gave me life for what I did. But at the same time, you have people out here this day and age. They're going to jail for clout, fame, and stuff to do with it. I don't understand how these people end up doing something and then cry when they get in front of the judge. We have another issue about that is because when we do stuff, we know other people that agree with us. Let us stay in their houses, hide us out, help us make the getaway, giving us plane tickets, bus fare, driving us where we need to get to just to get away for some stuff we had no business doing. So the question is, after that, we're trapped in between we damned if we do and then we damned if we don't. But in the middle, we have us as the people who need to come up with a solution. that if your son or daughter does something, turn that person in. And then don't cry when that person gets the time they need to get. Another part of the problem is when we go to prison, it's nothing to do in there. Meaning it's not mandatory. You got people that have been in prison 6 or 7 years and came and get out and don't know how to read or write. They're not even mandatory to go to school. They're not even mandatory to take AODA classes or parenting classes or anger management or critical thinking. None of that. They just go. That's it. So all it is a warehouse. You walk around all day long and watch the idiot box or do the idiot thing, playing dominoes, playing cards, playing basketball. It's always a game they play. And again, when you get out, the real reality is here. And we stuck in the thing is how much is too much time and how much is too less of a time. And especially depending on the crime he did. Because if you pull a gun out and you shoot somebody, this is no joke. I'm going to tell you something funny. It's a dude I know, Jay got a license. I thought he had a license 40. So he said, man, I ain't got a license 40, I got a license 36. He was highly upset that I put the extra 4 years on his life in 36. Just yesterday he called. He said, man, I stopped smoking weed, I stopped smoking pills, and I stopped drinking. I'm starting to work out. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't say it, but I was thinking to myself, it's too late. You might as well smoke more weed, pop more pills, drink more, and don't take care of your body. Because you got life in 36. Then he said, I can't wait till I get out. Again, I was just thinking, I wanted to say so bad, hey, man, you think the judge was joking with you? They don't play like that. They don't play like that. You in there for the rest of your life. There'll be no more ice cream sandwiches. There'll no more be mama's dressings on Thanksgiving or some turkey or none of that stuff. And they go with pride. But cry with them, get in front of the judge. And we have parents that will sit there and cry with them. Free so-and-so. Free little Michi. Bro, he killed somebody. People. He killed some people. Not just somebody. He killed a couple people. Over Facebook beef. Over a girl. Or whose shoes look the best. Or he snatched a gas station chain off his neck. That's all I wanted to say, man.
Thank you, Sherman. Appreciate your call. Milwaukee rapper Chicken P's Summerfest 2025 show has been canceled because he is in custody of the Milwaukee County Jail and could be incarcerated for some time. As part of a headliner lineup shuffle mid-festival, festival officials announced the rapper, whose given name is Raheeb Smith, will no longer perform at the Generac Power Stage tomorrow night. Smith, age 30, is arguably the most popular rapper living in Milwaukee and has held that title for several years as the city's rap scene has gained recognition nationally with the rise of social media and viral personalities. He has recorded a deal with 10K Projects, an independent record label behind Ice Spice and Trippie Redd. Festival officials offered no details about the cancellations other than, quote, unforeseen circumstances. But according to online court records, Smith is in custody of the Milwaukee County Jail after he failed a drug test that was being administered as a condition of the bail open for 2 felony drug-related cases going back to 2022. In March, Mr. Smith pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine and possession of a firearm by a felon. He was supposed to be sentenced on June 30th, which would have allowed him to perform at Summerfest. But his attorney filed a motion to postpone the hearing to late July after the failed drug test. The judge did grant the motion and ordered Smith be held until sentencing, which is scheduled for July 24th. He faces decades behind bars for the drug-related charge. Last month, Smith had a felony charge of recklessly endangering safety dismissed after the prosecution's essential witness failed to appear. Smith is represented by none other than Tony Cotton, who represented convicted murderer Maxwell Anderson. Raheeb is an incredibly talented rapper. We are working hard to get him into treatment so that he can resume his career and be there for the community, Cotton said in a statement. Raheeb apologizes to his fans and is upset with himself for letting them down. He asks that the public respect his privacy while he focuses on bettering himself. I'm going to take a break, come back. I'm going to give you the other part of who makes up the criminal justice system, the demographic breakdown of people that really hear it when it comes to crime. Mayors, city council members, so alderpersons, and county boards. Because when there is crime in the city of Milwaukee, we look to the mayor. When there's homicides in the city of Milwaukee and violent crime in the city of Milwaukee, we look to our alderpersons. So I'm going to give you guys a demographic snapshot of who those people are on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, in case you missed the amazing premiere of the 8 Block, you've got another chance to tap in. Coming straight from the heart of Milwaukee, the 8 Block is a bold, youth-led radio show powered by City on the Hill and 1017 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jammin. 8 Milwaukee teens with real stories and real lives. So don't miss the replay this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1017 The Truth and hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget. And right now, you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Get that jump start to a fulfilling career at Carroll University through majors such as video game design, music therapy, pre-law, and over 90 additional majors. Carroll University is Wisconsin's oldest university. Founded in 1846, Carroll offers students small class sizes, personalized attention, and a generous financial aid package while they receive a cutting-edge education. Learn more at carrollu.edu. That's carrollu.edu.
State Fair is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Rick, our guest, got here. They just came up to the window, so can you do me a favor, Rick? Can you oh Jesus Lord, can you go out to the little, oh Lord have mercy, go out to the lobby area and make sure that they got in. I unlock the door and just make sure that they are behaving. Just go and just tell them they're here early. We're not bringing them in yet, though. Can you just go tell them to sit there and don't, you know what I mean? Don't do nothing that I wouldn't do. Well, that's probably not good advice either. But can you see if they got in? And then tell them we'll be with them in like 10 or 15 minutes. Holy smokes, I can't believe it. They're here to promote an event. And that's what we do here. We promote events. I like to promote events. I like going to events. I like events because I'm eventful. And they're going to promote an event. That's totally fine. Listen to me. Listen. Don't be judgmental because we need to stop being so judgy. I don't know why people think they should be judgy. We don't like when people judge us. So can we please not judge my guests that are coming in? If Rick is not back in like the next 30 seconds, I may have to go and check on him because I don't know what they may do to him. But I just want you all to prepare yourselves for my in-studio guests I'm going to have. They're here early. I told them to come. The reason why I told them to come at the very end of the show is because I won't be able to recover my show after my conversation with them. It's very, very tough to get back on track and talk about, serious stuff when you have, Rick is back. Are you okay, Rick? You good? Don't tell people who it is now. Did they get in? Are they in?
Yeah, they're in. Okay. I didn't let them in, but they was already in.
Okay. They're sitting there. They're not bothering nobody?
Not yet.
Did I make a mistake, you think?
It depends what you call a mistake.
I think we all know what mistakes are. We've made enough of them at the ages that we all are. We know what a mistake. I guess I'm going to have to roll the dice.
Well, the real question is, are you ready for your mistake?
I just have to figure out how I'm going to respond to...
Oh, you know how to respond. And I think I know how you're going to respond.
Where should we... How do we do? And I haven't had 3 guests in here in a long time. Where do they sit? One here, obviously. One here, and then we just do another one right there, or on the end. Just group them all together. Okay. And you got their names because we're gonna put their names up on the thing on the YouTube. I flirt with cancellation, and one day I'm gonna walk out the studio. And it's gonna be a bunch of them. It's gonna be Sean, Kyle Wallace gonna be standing there. Carrie gonna be there too, probably eating a snack. And then Benjamin gonna be standing there and be, oh, Sherwin. That's what Benjamin calls me. He doesn't call me Sherwin. He calls me Sherwin. He's like, oh, Sherwin, sorry you getting canceled, brother. Peace. So when we complain about crime, we complain to our local elected officials. We know that it's not going to do a lot of good to complain to Senator Ron Johnson or Tammy Baldwin. I mean, you can complain to them, but federal legislators have different responsibilities and higher level responsibilities than local elected officials. I mean, we could complain to the governor about crime in the city of Milwaukee and that we want something done about it, but he's also doing statewide things and worrying about 1,850 municipalities and 72 different counties. We could complain about our state legislators, but again, they are enacting the state budget and trying to figure out what the priorities are for like the UW system and the State Department of Transportation, some really big things like that. It's our local elected officials. There are several people that either posted, commented, or liked that, we got to get a new mayor. The mayor is the problem. The mayor doesn't have the solutions for crime. I personally don't think that a mayor can stop somebody from shooting somebody, but I might be alone in that sentiment. But a lot of people look to our local elected officials. They wonder what the alderpersons are doing. They blame those that are closest to the street and closest to, what is actually happening, and that's our local elected officials. So we are complaining to them. Some of you might be calling your alderperson's office. Some of you might be writing letters to the mayor because you want something done with all the crime that we're seeing so far. Remember, the summer is only a week old. Doesn't it seem like everything is happening fast? Like Trump got off to a real fast start with his destruction. We're already at war. It's like, come on, dog, be in office for at least a year before you get all warlike. And the summer's off to a very fast start, too. This kind of violence we don't see until the summer starts to find its groove and progress, maybe through July, maybe in August. Summer's off to a very hot start, literally and figuratively. So when we complain, and it's not just Milwaukee, it's probably nationwide, when people in this country get sick, tired, and fed up of all the crime they complain to their local elected officials. Here's the demographics of the people they're complaining to. This information comes from the Reflective Democracy Campaign, which tracks the race and gender of the 50,000 local elected officials. So when I say 50,000 local elected officials in America, those are your mayors, your aldermen, and or city council members. We call them aldermen here. In other cities, they call them city councilors, and people on your county board and your county executives. So mayors, county executives, city councils, aldermen, and county board supervisors. There are 50,000 of them in the United States. 4% are black, 2% are Latino, 1% are Asian American. 93% of local elected officials, these are the people that we will complain to about crime. 93% of those individuals are white. And what do you think they are going to do as we complain about crime? They are going to oblige us. They're going to make sure that everything can be done at the local level, including diverting money out of programs and maybe away from nonprofits and giving grants to putting more cops on the street. I wouldn't want to be a cop right now, knowing that you can get ambushed. Cops is not going to be playing with us, y'all. I said a couple of days ago that policing and its execution will fit the tone and temper of the community. I refer to a time a long time ago, back when you had black police officers that lived in the neighborhood. They knew the mamas and the grandmamas and the daddies, and they knew the kids. They were a part of the fabric of our community. In fact, when times it seemed were softer and gentler, what did cops do? Gave us baseball cards as kids. They were very nice to us. It was always officer friendly. And now, because things have gotten decidedly more violent, the police, I think, are responding in kind with the execution of policing. I'm going to take a break, come back, I'm going to grab a telephone call on the other side, and then I'm going to get ready for the... Rick, I'm scared. Why don't we do this? Oh, God, what do I do, Rick? Produce, Rick! Produce an answer!
Accept your fate. You did this. It's time to face it.
Okay, well, hang on now. So do we take Al now and then take a break and then we bring in the guests? Hello, Al. Hi, how are you? Hi.
I'm doing good, but you're supposed to do that after you finish.
Oh.
Okay, are we ready? I said, are we ready? That's what we need to understand. See, all this stuff that's going on, they just need to leave. That's it. Now, I understand the police have a very, very hard job. You know what I mean? But if people would just act right, it would be a wonderful place. But if you keep doing it over and over and over, you must have a fetish for what you're doing, which means you need some concrete walls, some steel bars, and some silver toilets. That's what you need. Now, I have nothing against our mayor, but our mayor needs to toughen up. He needs to raise some hell. So he don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Sometimes people's feelings need to be hurt. Some of our aldermen, some of them need to get bigger chests. And they need to talk like they got a swollen kuka. Because a lot of these politicians, they got some humongous camel toes, and they look like they got genital warts from the back. So they're going to have to take off them briefs and take off the bikini briefs and put on some boxers and let them nuts hang. Because, see, them overly tight suits is why they're getting them streaks in their pants, so don't nobody want to do nothing, so they keep releasing them back to us. We don't want them around us. You can put them up in our scotch. You got all low income up in, Marinette, Peshtigo. Put them all up there. But they put them over here because, see, if they put them over here, you can keep all the destruction for the whites, and keep them safe. And they even starting to bring their detriments over here. So what we have to do is when it comes time to their elections, how about write in somebody else's name? Because, see, they done got too comfortable. You know, like a bad marriage. When he leaves, how he got so comfortable, he just come home smelling like somebody's vajayjay, and it's not the vajayjay he said I do. You got too comfortable, so you need to be dismissed. That goes for you aldermen. I hope you listen, and you aldermen ladies, because you love showing every tooth in your mouth when y'all in that Shepherd Express. But I'm going to get ready and go. I want y'all to have yourself a good weekend. Until you women is out there, protect yourself. And if anybody says something bad to you, tell them this. I was prepared to tell you eat my ass, but your tongue look like chicken gizzards. Have a good weekend. I'll pass. Bye-bye.
Why did he say that?
At this point, are we surprised what the stuff that Al says?
Look, we're going to take a break and like bringing the guests in after that. This is too much.
About to be a long 30 minutes.
Oh my God. Do I do? Well, no. So I come back and okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right, they're here to promote an event. I'm gonna take a break and when hold on.
No, don't cry now.
Hold on, Rick. Let me get ready. Here. Get ready. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. When I come back, I'll be joined by guests from the World Naked Bike Ride. There's several of them coming. Were they dressed, Rick? Did they have clothes on?
Maybe.
Okay, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Why did Old National Bank decide to create this program?
You know, it was something that was near and dear to the heart of our chairman and CEO, Jim Bryant. Jim wanted us to do more in the African-American communities, more with minority-owned businesses. So he approached Roland Shelton, who was my boss in Evansville, Indiana, and said, Roland, we need to do more. We need to create a program that's going to allow individuals, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses to access capital a lot better than traditionally we've been doing. And so we created the Empowerment Loan Program 2 years ago.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Dr. Ken Harris with his truth.
You know, in life, our journey is not meant to be walked alone. As much as self-reliance and independence are celebrated, we need an inner circle, a group of trusted friends who uplift, challenge, and remind us of our purpose. Your inner circle is more than just companionship. It's your compass. These are the people who see your potential when self-doubt clouds your vision, who tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable, and who stand beside you when the weight of the world feels unbearable. You know, the value of an inner circle is not just in the emotional support, but in accountability. They hold us to our highest standards, ensuring we don't settle for mediocrity. It's through this circle that we refine our thoughts, grow in character and courage to face life's battles. Today is no exception. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, energize you, and believe in your dreams as much as you do. They will then shape your growth, strengthen your resilience, and celebrate your victories. You know, James Baldwin once said, "The place in which I will fit will not exist until I make it." Your inner circle is part of that place, a foundation for your growth, your success, and most importantly, belonging.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So I played this song because in this video, D'Angelo is naked. So in studio, we have John Jankowski. Welcome back, John. You're no stranger to this place. You've been here before.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me again.
When we had you on the first time, we were probably some months away from the naked bike ride that is taking place tomorrow, Saturday, June 28th. At noon, we're meeting, correct? So it's tomorrow. You excited for it? You excited to get naked?
I'm telling you, it is going to be awesome.
Okay.
We're blessed with some good weather, and we are ready. Everything is going on schedule, knock on wood, including the weather. And I have to say the weather because we haven't had good weather in the first 4.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
Thanks to you, we're getting a good turnout, and I appreciate you having me back on the show with some awesome guests that are going to tell us a little bit more about life and what happens at the World Naked Bike Ride and nudity in general. So I'm sorry, I'm not stepping on the host's toes here.
Not at all. We have in studio Mary and Todd. Welcome to the program. Gotta have you talk right into your microphone there, Todd. There you go.
Better?
There you go. So welcome to the program. So you're married and you had like a special reception at last year's Naked Bike Ride. And so I asked you before we came back on air, were you naked at your reception? And you kind of were, but you weren't entirely naked, Todd. You were wearing...
I had a cummerbund and sandals.
Okay. And Mary, what were you wearing?
A veil.
Okay.
And sandals.
And that's all. And you feel totally comfortable just out there in public, literally bearing all at these events. Mm-hmm. How did you get, I guess, the confidence to want to be naked in public?
Well, right before the first Naked Bike Ride, we had seen something on Facebook, and I think I jokingly had said something to Todd, let's do this. And he said yes. And then I started to panic a little bit because I'm not a bike rider. What if I...
Oh, that's why you panicked, because you're not a bike rider.
I mean, it had nothing to do with being naked. I was worried, is it going to be too hot? Am I going to overheat? Am I going to get sunburned? Am I going to fall? I really don't ride a bike often. And showed up at the event, and my first thought right before we walked in is like, well, this could be awkward for a minute, and maybe it was for a quarter of a second, and it was just very comfortable. Everybody standing around doing what people would be doing with clothes on. So
good to know, I suppose. Well, here's the thing. There's a much bigger message here, John. This is about body positivity, and no matter how you look, no matter how you may even feel about how you look, everyone there is nice and they are very accommodating, and we want people to feel comfortable. Isn't that one of the themes of We Bear All and the purpose of the bike ride?
You said it so great. I appreciate that. And yes, that's exactly what we are about. Body positivity, self-acceptance. I mean, we are all beautiful people. We're put on this earth. We're not going to get out alive. Let's realize that. So why can't we get along? I mean, we've had some travesty overnight. It's shocking in the city here. Let me make a point very quickly out front. This is a peaceful protest. I wouldn't expect anything else. We're going to show Milwaukee that we are beautiful. Every shape, size, color, race, tall, skinny, we don't care. You are beautiful. It's really that simple, people. Don't make it complicated. Don't overthink it. If you've ever wanted to experience non-sexual social nudity, come on down. We're going to have food vendors. We're going to have live music. We're going to have a live figure drawing, which means we're going to have a model that will pose. And if you're an artist or ever wanted to draw somebody naked, we're going to have that. And that's something near and dear to my heart because one of our big sponsors, Joseph Studio, started a modeling program, and I currently model at Mitchell Street Arts in their figure modeling program where you can come and draw a live nude model every Monday night right here in Milwaukee. And MyEd offers that as well. UW Milwaukee offers that as well as accredited courses. So we want to show that there's more to nudity. There's an art form to it. People don't understand that. Kids go to school to learn how to draw the naked body and the muscles that are in it. But we also want to just show Milwaukee, plain and simple, we're beautiful and that this can happen. And that's, while I'm here, let me also say thank you to the City of Milwaukee, thank you to the City Attorney's Office, thank you to the Milwaukee Police Department for the conversations that we've had.
Because you have to know what your legal parameters are. And let me also reinforce the fact that this is going to be very peaceful. Because where are you going to hide a gun? You can't hide a gun anywhere if you're naked. So, but it's not just about body positivity. It's also the whole bike riding aspect, and we want to encourage people to stop their reliance on fossil fuels and biking, especially in the warm summer months. I'd imagine, Mary, you've gotten used to biking now, because the naked part was never an issue for you, but now the biking is okay with you.
Oh, yes, the biking is definitely okay. We live in Florida now, and we're not in an area where it's as easy just to leave the house and hop on your bike and safely ride somewhere. You actually have to pick up and go somewhere to do that.
Okay.
So we're happy to be back and able to ride around some of our favorite places here with clothes on.
All right. Todd, have you always been a nudist, or is this something that you maybe discovered later on in life? Can I call you a nudist? Are you a nudist?
I would say that, yeah.
Okay, if you're going to be on a bike in Milwaukee naked, I guess you're a nudist.
Yeah. I know the first time I went several years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, I went to a naked beach. And that was the start of it. And like Mary said, after about a half a second, you're okay. And everybody's naked. You're all on the same all on the same level. So it's interesting lifestyle.
Yeah, I can imagine that it is. Here's where, and a lot of folks like myself have never done this before. Where do you look? If you come and you introduce yourself to somebody and they're stark naked as the day they were born, what can you don't look? Is that rude if you look? Because I'm used to, if you're a man, you're at the gym and you took a shower and you're in the gym, you don't look. Mm-hmm. If you're at a urinal and you're in the men's bathroom, don't you dare look. At this, you almost can't help but you got to look a little bit. Do you look?
And actually, no. It's more you see people in the eyes and you see. And Mary notices tattoos. But
I bet
it's like that. The eyes, you get to know somebody a little closer when you're looking at their eyes than when they're just judging their clothes or judging their body parts and things like that. So
you'll be surprised, Sherwin, how people lock eyes right away. A nudist is going to look you in the eyes because they want to see where you're at, and then after that initial, "Hey, how you doing?" This, that, and the other thing, the look's going to come. Don't
sure.
lie. The look's going to come.
They are going to.
It's going to come as they're walking away or at a given time. I mean, let's not lie. But it's really not a focus. But let's reiterate, too, that you do not have to be naked to attend this event.
All right.
Come as you are. You're beautiful. You're accepted. And I think you're going to see that from our vendors. You're going to see that from the bands, the music that we're going to have playing. All three will be naked as well.
Hold on. The band is naked?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, John. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to give people all of the details, where you're meeting, what time, the length of the bike ride, what they should know about the bike ride. And also, you have some black vendors that are participating. Oh, are they going to be naked too? Not the blacks. Naked blacks? Well, we'll talk about that on the other side. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Tomorrow is the Bear As You Dare naked bike ride here in the city of Milwaukee. I got Mary in the studio. I got Todd in the studio. And, of course, John is here with We Bear All. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Truth fam. This is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode drops on the 1017 The Truth YouTube page. And since it is on YouTube, I hold nothing back. I give you all my hot takes on celebrity gossip and give you the tea on relationships that you don't want to miss. Subscribe to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you never miss Nothing But the Truth digital show, dropping every Wednesday at 6 p.m., presented by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris, Repello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Is right around the corner, and it's time to savor the savings. These $15 tickets will only be available through June 29th. Save today so you'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, July 31st through August 10th.
After an accident, don't wait to get the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices first. There is no fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, our Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer series is always a hit, and we're bringing it back this summer. Join our Truth team for Beyond the Mic with me, Sherwin Hughes, Friday, July 11th from 5 until 7 p.m. in Mr. B's Lounge, located at 8617 West Brown Deer Road. There will be delicious cocktails, food, great conversations. We're going to give away stays to the Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells, and so much more. We're looking forward to seeing you on Friday, July 11th. From 5 until 7 p.m. at Mr. B's Lounge in Milwaukee. Oh, I'm so looking forward to that. Also looking forward to an event that's taking place tomorrow. Is it the World Naked Bike? It's not a world event. This is a local event. Do we call it the World Naked Bike Ride?
It is worldwide. It is. It is worldwide.
So there are other cities that are also doing something similar tomorrow.
No, different dates. Actually, last Saturday was Madison, Wisconsin, that Todd and Mary also participated in.
How was that, Todd and Mary?
Wonderful.
It was good. Everybody was naked and happy.
Yep.
All right, make sure you bring a towel.
Driving through the Capitol with farmers market was the best.
Oh, that's very crowded. It's very populated. A lot of people. Did you get a lot of stares?
A lot of cheering. A lot of phone cell
People
phone
taking
video.
pictures.
You guys okay with that? Being photo? All right then. All right.
It's my 15 minutes of glory.
And you're in your glory, all right. John, can you tell us some details that people will need to know about tomorrow? First and foremost, don't arrive naked.
Thank you. Thank you. Do not arrive naked. Wait till I give the official sound that is okay. I always do a last check with Milwaukee Police Department and people that I have connections with. And at noon, it's usually noon right after, but please do not arrive naked. So let's go with the positive stuff. Hey, all right. We're going to have some awesome music that we just touched on. Two of the performers, Miss Amber, who actually has been coming up. She lives in St. Louis, and she comes all the way up here for the bike ride and to perform for us naked.
Awesome.
And she'll be playing from noon to 1. The awesome Megan will be performing from 1 till 2. At 1:30, we're going to, as I touched about, we're going to have the open draw. So if you're interested in that, that'll be available. And then from 2 till 3:30, quarter to 4, we're going to have Mother Fortune, an awesome band out of Chicago. That is going to join us and play some funk and some jazz. You can check them out on Spotify or any application you have. And then we will be riding at approximately 4 o'clock. I'll have some opening comments. And let me back up a little bit and explain for the people that are on YouTube.
Yes, the pink hats.
The pink hats. Todd, Mary, and myself are wearing pink hats today. Oh, I can't put it on because I've got headphones, but we're wearing pink hats, and there's significance to the pink hats. So when you arrive at the venue, we have safe people, okay? And you say, what are safe people? Well, safe people are safe people. If you have any questions, you have any concerns, anybody is harassing you in any way, you just feel uncomfortable. You need somebody to talk to. You need to know where the bathrooms are. We will have porta potties there. We do have a neighboring venue that is serving alcoholic beverages. It is BYOB as well.
So you can bring your own beverages and your own clothes, too.
If you must, yes,
Okay.
bring clothes. And speaking of clothes, do not leave the venue without clothes. You must bring something along the ride. In case there's a catastrophe and you need to drop out for any reason, flat tire, accident, whatever, and you need, you need clothes. Let's just be real.
Where are we meeting?
First in Orchard.
Orchard.
Yes, sir.
And the ride is roughly how long? How many miles is the ride?
Roughly 13 miles.
Oh, boy, that's a long way.
Veterans Park, if you want to go down there and watch, it's a beautiful area. Summerfest, watch out. Here we come. We're bringing it, baby. We're bringing it.
And you gave me a shirt. You gave me shirts the last time you were here, but you didn't yet have the 2025 Naked Bike Ride shirt. Can you talk about that? You got some African American vendors. I'm gonna put this on.
Wow.
I'm gonna get naked right now.
In showing inclusivity, we have 3 awesome Milwaukee vendors that are black-owned businesses that I'd like to give a shout out to if I can.
Sure. I was going to put, there's a guy that just sat right there. I feel like I shouldn't take my shirt off.
You should have. But we've got Big Boys Barbecue joining us, Taste Buds Barbecue, and Lovely and Tasty Walking Tacos joining us. And thank you for your support. Again, these are black-owned businesses. Everybody is included and welcome at this bike ride. We don't care what you are, who you are. Come. You're beautiful. Let's show Milwaukee how beautiful we are. Look at this. We're going to get a man with a awesome 2025 World Naked Bike Ride shirt.
I'm not afraid to get naked.
Naked in the studio.
I'll get naked.
This is it.
I was born naked.
You were. And isn't that beautiful?
No.
Why? You were born with that body. You should be proud of that body.
In the market hall staring at my...
How beautiful you are. That's what they're staring at. They're saying, look at that beautiful man.
Shirt's a little snug.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. That's all right.
You're buff, man. You are buff.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Mary, Todd, thank you guys for coming and being a part of this. And I will, I can't guarantee I'm going to be naked now, but I am going to be participating in the festivities. That's our time. Thank you guys. And we're going to have a great ride tomorrow. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is out. Have a great weekend.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievements BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin and Versity for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th